All right, everyone. Well, let's get started here. Thank you, everyone, for joining us for this session of this month in ActivePipe. My name is Rachel, and I am one of the customer success managers here at ActivePipe for the US. And today I have with me Nathan, who is our product manager, who's joining us all the way from Australia. So thanks for being with us today, Nathan, early in the morning for you.
No worries. Thanks, Rachel. Hi, everyone.
Yeah, hopefully you have your coffee with you this morning.
Yeah.
Well, before we get started, just a couple of housekeeping things. This session is being recorded, so if anyone would have to hop off or wants to rewatch this later on, we will be recording this session. And also where you can access these recordings, if you go to activepipe.com, just go to our website. And if you go to resources in the webinars tab, you can access all of our previous recorded webinars. So you'll just want to go to North America, and just below here, this is where you'll access all of our past webinars. And you can even sign up for upcoming webinars on this page as well. And then last thing I'll show you here too, I strongly recommend going to our blog. We post at least an article a month, usually more. And a lot of the blog content that our team is writing is usually tied to these webinars, to these different activities. So highly recommend that you sign up for our blogs here. And then lastly, if anyone has any questions, you should see a Q&A box just down below. Feel free to enter any of your questions in there. And then I'll keep an eye on that and can ask them for you, or I can always unmute you too to ask Nathan any questions. But with that said, Nathan, I will hand everything over to you so that you can talk about the product roadmap.
All right. Hi, everyone. So today I'm going to talk a bit around where we're heading in ActivePipe, a bit around the future. I'm going to start with more of the long-term roadmap, and then I want to talk a bit more around the shorter term, and then we're going to wrap up with a demo around something that we're going to be launching in the next week. So let's start with the long term. So I want to talk a little on where we're heading. So we're putting together a strategy really that's designed around specific outcomes. And part of the strategy is we're actually realigning our product offerings around 3 particular use cases. So what that's going to look like, and just for context, this is a kind of multi-year strategy we're talking here. So we're talking a bit into the future, but what that's going to look like is we're basically going to be defining 3 new product tiers. And each of those is designed to solve a particular problem. So the first product tier is going to be called ActivePipe Connect. And this is designed to solve basic communication and nurturing between your contacts. So the idea with Connect is it's going to be able to facilitate one-off communications with your network. So it's going to be our kind of our entry point, our low-cost product tier. And you're going to be able to facilitate things like, we're going to be able to like drag and drop emails, integrate with your contacts, CRM. You'll get the campaign reporting, integrations with like video and RSS, and that's kind of what's available today. But the things that are on our roadmap here are improved integrations around the images, image media, images and media support. We're going to be looking at additional communication channels. So what's really crucial here is we want to facilitate communication with your network, and you have networks, you know, outside just email. So we want to be adding on those additional communication channels, and I'll talk a little bit more on that later. As well as a new feature that we'll be looking at called Smart Send, and that's something that we'll announce, you know, in the future. The next product tier is going to be called Nurture, and this is for people who want to rather than just sending these one-off communications, it's about long-term nurturing of your customers. So the features are really around are designed around that. So um, you have the ability to do things like set up these long-running drip campaigns that can run over multiple years. Um, you'll have the ability to trigger campaigns based off people's actions, but also things like people's birthdays, anniversaries of purchases, those kind of things. So you can really keep in contact with your customers over the long term. And we're also really focused on features in our roadmap that help with that. So um, we're going to be looking at more content for emails. So so you could just have better, more engaging conversations with people. Things like market reports, dynamic market reports. But one of the bigger things we'll be looking at is like these pre-built nurture journeys. So we're going to help you here by really loading up your account with all of these out-of-the-box journeys, and you can just kind of choose which journeys you want to use, and send people down these. So you don't have to create all the content yourself. We're really going to help here by creating content for you. You'll also see actually in the available offerings, we'll be enabling our real estate content offering as well. So you have all of those ActivePipe articles as well. So yeah, this is that long-term nurturing of your contacts, just so you can stay top of mind without having to manually keep up with phone calls and emails every week. Then the last tier here is called ActivePipe Grow. And this offering is really around if you want to start to generate the leads as well as nurture your contacts, you really want to start to extract leads and extract new business out of your database. So this product is all designed around that lead generation piece. So features like, this is where our AI-based lead identification system comes into play. So our intent identification system. So we'll start to profile your customers based off what they're doing, what they're engaging with, and start to tell you, look, this person's behaving like an upsizer, and give you the context you need to, make that phone call. We also have the surveys, so you can actually start to get more insights around your customers. And what we're looking at in the roadmap here is more advanced market insights. So we want to offer market insights, but these insights will also help generate leads. So we'll give dynamic market reports that always have that call to action. So people can be following up with you for, if they're interested in, learning the value of their listing, their property. We also will look at more advanced lead identification, smart match reporting. So that's where we kind of really give you that insights on what we think this consumer is interested in, and more advanced contact insights. So those are the three kind of problems that we're looking to solve. So basic communication with your database, then we have in Connect, then we have long-term lead nurturing, and this is to keep you top of mind over many years. And then we have Grow, which is really designed to extract new business, new listings and sales out of your database. So that's the kind of future state that we're working toward in ActivePipe. And as we start to develop these products and roll them out, we'll be communicating this to our customers, to our brokerages. So you'll all be informed as to when these changes are happening, and you'll have the opportunity to kind of find which product works, solves the problem that you're wanting to solve. So that's the longer term. I want to talk a little on the shorter term. So, over the next, say, 12 months, 6 to 12 months. A few other things that we're looking at the moment are, we've been doing a lot of work with our customers and really getting to understand, the problems that are most, most important to you for us to solve. And a really big one that's been coming up over and over is social. So we're going to be looking at implementing a social solution in the next 12 months. And we're working on that at the moment, really just getting in the market, discovering with our customers, and learning the problems that we need to solve here. So that's a really big one for us, and it's really exciting because that's the first time we're going into this new channel. We talked about in that Connect offering going into multiple channels. That's one of those additional channels. So now you'll be able to start to nurture your databases that you've grown through email, but also that audience you've built over those social media platforms. Another one that we're working on at the moment is the market report feature or market insights. So that's going to be the ability to bring dynamic reports into your emails. So we do actually have a current offering around that, and we're looking to significantly improve on that offering with much more dynamic content, but also just improved content. So we've listened, we've spoken with many customers, and we've learned that people want a much more visually appealing. We're really focusing on making it look really nice, but also, more dynamic and personalized to your contacts. So those are the two big ones on the horizon. So definitely keep an eye out for those in the next 6 to 12 months. So now I want to talk about what's coming next. So we are going to be launching a new feature or an update next week, and I want to actually do a quick demo on that today. So we've made some big changes to our dynamic listing feed options. So I'm going to jump across into the app and give a quick demo now of what those changes are. Okay, so I'm here in a demo account in email. I'm just going to drag in a property panel. So let's drag in this grid panel. So just a refresher. So there's two ways you can select listings in ActivePipe. You can either go in and you can manually search for a listing. You could type in the address here, or you could just browse below. So that's the manual approach. But then there's our feed-driven approach. And I can do that by just toggling on this toggle up here, this ActivePipe feed. Now, what this is going to do is this is going to return a list of a set of properties that match some criteria. So if I go and define properties, this is where I can set that criteria. So this is the updated feed option. So a few changes here right up front. We now have the ability to select multiple options for property type, listing status, and zoning type. So what that means is, let's say now this language is actually Australian. So a unit is a condo for US. So I might want to do units and townhouses, not just townhouses. Previously that wasn't possible. I can do the same thing with listing statuses and all of these other options as well. So just gives us more flexibility in the types of properties that we want to send out. So that's one update. There's some more updates in this advanced section. So actually one of the big ones that we've heard many times from our customers is they want the ability to define a price range when choosing their listing. So let's say I want to do maybe properties less than $1 million. I was speaking to a customer yesterday, and that's exactly what they were trying to do. But they actually wanted them to be kind of higher. Like the problem that she was having was that they were a bit too cheap. So we could maybe go $700,000 to $1 million. Or maybe you want to send out a luxury listings email. So you have the ability to really refine that range here. So you can either do a range like I've done here, or you can do a minimum or a maximum. So I can just now include any listing that's $700,000 or above. So that's one big change.
And Nathan, are
Uh,
you able to free type into here too, or do you just have to select from like the drop down?
Yeah, good question. So I can type in anything. The drop down is a convenience there. So I could type in, 700,050.
Okay,
The drop down will just help you kind of get to the price point you're looking for, but you could just manually type in any number you want.
thanks for clarifying.
So another one I'll talk on is the this option here that limits the listings by a kind of geographical constraint. So one thing we've recently added was the ability to define the state. Now, this is another one that many customers have raised, issues where your MLS may be returning listings from a state that you're not licensed in, has been an issue that we've run into. So now you'll actually have the ability, you can define the state or states that you are licensed in and only return those listings. One thing I just want to add here is we're actually going to be doing some additional work following the release this week on a couple of fields. So on the location filtering, we're going to be actually launching some updates where this will now be able to go more granular. So we'll actually be able to filter down to the neighborhood and or subdivision level as well. So keep an eye out for that. That's not in the release that's happening this week, but that'll be a following release. Another thing that's updated is we've also just made that consistent across the contact tab as well. So just for a refresher again on the contact tab. So this is basically giving you options that will customize the email per contact. If I don't check anything in this tab, everyone's going to receive the same email. Once I configure something in this tab, every contact will receive their own version of that email. There may be multiple contacts who receive the same version, but it'll be specific to that contact's data. So I could now also go, I want to only send listings in the same state as my contact. So that contact will only receive listings that way. So that's the other update there. We have also made some improvements to our smart match, our contact preference requirements. So one thing that we've added recently is actually this property type match. So this will be if a contact specifies that they're only interested in single family homes, now the email will actually filter down to just single family homes for that contact. And a reminder.
We do have one question. One of the attendees asked, instead of a postcode, could they search by city or cities?
Yes, you can. Oh, sorry, postcode. Again, I'm actually in an Australian version of the account, so this would be
That's
zip code.
okay.
So you'll see zip code, suburb, and sorry, I can't actually remember what it internationalizes to.
Yeah.
Neighborhood.
It's city. City is
Okay. Yeah, so it will be zip code, city, state. Is that right? Yeah.
yes. And then I
Yes.
think county as well.
Okay. Yeah, so that's right. Sorry, I should have jumped in a US account today. But yeah, this will be that the zip code, city, state, and then we'll be launching neighborhood and subdivision. And yeah, so I just wanted to also give a refresher on Smart Match. We are actually continuing to improve Smart Match. It's all kind of behind the scenes, but we've done some work in the most recent update, or the update that's associated with this release, and that's going to actually improve Smart Match as well. So just a refresher on Smart Match, how this works is as a contact is interacting with listings. So you can see here, we've got some listings. If a contact were to be clicking on these two listings, for example, we'd start to build up a profile of those interactions. So we can see here that both of those interactions are in the same suburb. So this is Caulfield North, a suburb in my hometown of Melbourne, Australia. So we'd start to build up a bit of a profile, and we'd create a profile and say that this contact is actually interested in Caulfield North. It would take more events to kind of really build up a strong profile, but that's kind of the idea. We'd also be looking at the number of bedrooms, and we can see here both these listings have the same number of bedrooms. So we'd start to kind of add that to the profile. So what's happening with Smart Match is we've just made it more advanced, and it's going to be looking at more attributes, and it's going to be creating a much more accurate profile. So this is always a good idea to just turn on Smart Match if you don't have all of your contacts preferences. You can just let our system build up that profile behind the scenes, and it will be sending them the most relevant or promoting the most relevant listings to that contact. Okay, so I think that covers off all of the changes here that I wanted to talk about. Yeah, so actually one more update, and I won't actually be able to show this unfortunately because again I'm not in a US account, but we've added the MLS ID as an option to include in your listings in the email. So you can jump into the property options here. So when you have your property panel in the options, in layouts, you'll be able to add the layout that is MLS ID. So that's the last change that we're going to be releasing in this feature. Now, all of the things that I covered here, don't worry if it was a lot. This will also all be covered again in the collateral that we send out with the announcement. Okay, so I think that's all for the demo. So maybe we wrap up with some questions.
Yep, feel free. If you have any questions, you can raise your hand and I can always unmute you, or you can feel free to post them in the Q&A and we can answer them that way. Any questions here? I'm not seeing any, which means I guess, Nathan, you did such a good job. No one has any questions. Oh, wait, maybe we have one. Got it. And Lauren, I will go ahead. The webinars will be posted on our website. It will just be under webinars. You can also, I'll put this in here. You can go to or email support@activepipe.com. And you can also ask them to send you, they can send you over the webinar once it's posted as well. Any other questions? I don't see any. So thank you so much again, Nathan, for joining us and for everyone jumping in today as well. Again, this is being recorded and we will share this. And we hope to see you on our next webinar, which will be next Wednesday, July 28th at 1 p.m. Central Time. So everyone have a great day and see you on the next one.
See you, everyone.
Bye.